You know the image, right? The brilliant detective, a lone genius who spots one tiny, overlooked clue and bam, the whole case is solved. But what if that's just, half the story? Today, we're going to dig into the real art of detection, where that kind of brilliant thinking has to meet the tough, disciplined reality of the modern world. So, if you really want to understand the art of detection, you have to start with the master, Sherlock Holmes. For more than a century, he's been the blueprint for what a brilliant investigation looks like. This is the guy who could figure out a man's entire life just by glancing at his hat. But here's the thing, it wasn't magic, it was a method. And it all starts with paying attention to the smallest, tiniest detail. And this quote right here, it's the key to his whole philosophy. Holmes got that the big truths are almost always hiding in the little details, the trifles that everyone else just walks right past. He basically trained his mind to see what was significant in the things that seemed insignificant, to find the extraordinary in what looked totally ordinary. So, how did he do it? Well, the foundation of his entire method is observation. But for Holmes, observation was a pure science. It was totally separate from the act of drawing conclusions. It was about one thing and one thing only, just collecting the raw, unfiltered data. Okay, and this is way harder than it sounds. I mean, our brains are literally wired to find patterns, to connect the dots right away. The real discipline is learning how to silence that voice, to resist that urge to jump to conclusions, and to just see what's actually there, not what you think should be there. Just look at this classic example. Holmes doesn't just make some wild guess about where Watson has been. Nope. He starts with a single, concrete observation, a little bit of reddish mold on a boot. Then, he connects that physical evidence to another fact he knows. The pavement outside a specific post office is dug up, and the dirt there has a really unique color. This is just pure data collection. He isn't making any leaps yet. He's just gathering the facts, one by one. Okay, so you've got all this raw data in hand. What's next? Well, this is where the magic seems to happen. This is deduction. It's how Holmes turns those simple, disconnected observations into these incredible, breathtaking insights. And here's the cool part. He doesn't just guess why Watson went to the post office. He uses a process of elimination. He knows for a fact Watson wasn't writing a letter. He knows he didn't need to buy stamps or postcards. So, by systematically getting rid of every other possibility, Holmes is left with only one logical conclusion. And that, right there, is the core of the Holmes method. It's a beautifully simple but incredibly powerful form of logic. Gather the facts, eliminate everything that's impossible, and whatever is left, no matter how unlikely it seems, has to be the truth. It's like a razor, just cutting away everything that isn't the answer. But let's hit pause on Baker Street for a second. What if Sherlock Holmes were a detective today? As perfect as his method sounds, the real world of investigation is a completely different game. A modern detective isn't just a brilliant mind working alone. They're part of a huge, complex system with strict, unbending rules. See, in a story, a detective's only limit is their own brain. But in reality, it's a whole different ballgame. Every single move a detective makes is governed by laws and procedures, and those are designed to protect the rights of everyone involved, including the person they might suspect. In England and Wales, for example, this rulebook is called the Police and Criminal Evidence Act, or PACE for short. Now this, and laws like it all around the world, totally reshaped police work. It brought in a level of accountability and scrutiny that would have been completely alien to someone like Sherlock Holmes. I mean, just think about what this means. Every single interview is on the record. Suspects get to talk to a lawyer right away. There's an independent officer there just to make sure they're treated properly. This isn't about slowing an investigation down. It's about making sure the evidence you gather is solid and the process is fair, so you can prevent some truly terrible miscarriages of justice. So while modern detectives are bound by all these rules, they're also armed with a toolkit that Holmes could only have dreamed of. And it's a toolkit built not just on individual genius, but on hard science and really smart systems. Take something like the National Intelligence Model. It sounds complicated, but it's basically a formal system for turning a flood of raw information into something you can actually use. Info gets collected, it's checked to see how reliable it is, it's combined with other data, analyzed for patterns, and then it gets sent to the officers on the ground. It's a structured, repeatable process, a world away from Holmes's sudden flashes of insight. The whole game has changed. The lone wolf detective with amazing street smarts has pretty much given way to a collaborative team of specialists using forensic science and data analysis. Modern investigations are often these huge systematic efforts, sometimes spanning multiple countries. It's all about teamwork now. And the impact of technology, I mean, wow, it's been nothing short of revolutionary. The ability to pull a full DNA profile from a microscopic speck of blood or skin, it's changed everything. In the UK, just one DNA program alone led to a four-fold increase in solved cases. That's not just an improvement, that's a whole new paradigm. And DNA is just the tip of the iceberg. Today's detectives have access to huge automated fingerprint databases, software that can map crime hotspots in real time, and psychological interview techniques designed to get accurate information, not just force a confession. And with organizations like Europol, even crossing a border doesn't guarantee you'll get away. Okay, so you've got all these rules, you've got all this amazing tech, but here's the twist, the big paradox. The single biggest danger for any detective, from Sherlock Holmes to a cop on the beat today, is the trap of being too certain too soon. And this quote from a real criminal investigation handbook, it just nails the problem. The pressure to identify a suspect and close a case is absolutely immense. And that pressure can lead investigators to lock onto a single theory way too early, and sometimes it can blind them to evidence that says they're wrong. You know, the hardest part of being a detective isn't actually finding the clues. It's keeping an open mind. These things called cognitive biases, like confirmation bias, where you tend to favor information that confirms what you already believe, are a leading cause of investigations going wrong. The very best detectives are always challenging their own assumptions, actively looking for where they might be wrong. And when you get it wrong, the consequences are just devastating. The case of the Birmingham Six is a tragic, tragic reminder of this. 6 innocent men spent 16 years in prison because of a combination of flawed science, confessions that were forced out of them, and a system that just refused to question its own certainty. These are the real-world traps that can ruin an investigation. See, unlike in a Sherlock Holmes story, eyewitnesses make mistakes, confessions can be proven false, and even the science can be misinterpreted. But maybe the most dangerous trap of all is that closed mindset, the failure to see the truth even when it's sitting right in front of you. So, when you boil it all down, what does it really mean to think like a detective today? It's about combining that sharp, observant eye of a Sherlock Holmes with the discipline of modern procedure, the incredible power of science, and maybe most importantly, the humility to always, always question your own conclusions. And that leaves us with a really crucial question. We all want crimes to be solved, of course, but we also demand a just system. So which is more important? That brilliant flash of insight that cracks a single case, or the rigorous, disciplined process that ensures justice is truly served for everyone? That's the fundamental challenge for every single modern detective.